Just outside Seattle lies the town of Kirkland, a picturesque community on the shores of Lake Washington. Among its tree-lined streets and serene waters lived 27-year-old Elena Busousakos. She was beautiful, very Greek, with a smile that could light up a room. People who knew her say she drew you in when she spoke. She spoke with you, not at you. Elena was as kind-hearted as she was stunning. A New Year's wish. On New Year's Eve, 1998, Elena wrote down her hopes and dreams for the year ahead. Among her wishes, she wrote that she was ready to meet her soulmate, a partner who would cherish her and her son, Anthony, a bright 7-year-old boy who was the center of her world. Since her divorce, Anthony had been her priority, and Elena's life revolved around making him happy. Weeks after penning that wish, Elena met a man at the gym, a charismatic figure named Sion Louie. She told friends she was in love, completely captivated by him. Sion seemed perfect with Anthony, a crucial factor for Elena, who wanted a traditional family, a stable home, the engagement, and the illusion of happiness. A year into the relationship, Sion presented Elena with an engagement ring, a tangible promise of the future they were building together. In January 2001, the couple moved to Woodinville, a nearby town, to create their first home. Outwardly, they seemed happy, but appearances, as often in these cases, can be deceiving. The day everything changed. On Friday, February 2nd, 2001, the rhythm of Elena's life changed forever. That afternoon, she met her ex-husband to drop off Anthony for the weekend as part of shared custody. Later that evening, Elena hurried home to pack for a weekend trip to California. She planned to visit her mother, but something went terribly wrong. Sion, concerned when Elena didn't arrive at the airport, began calling friends and family. By Monday, she had not shown up at work, nor picked up Anthony from school. Alarm bells rang. This was not the Elena anyone knew. Sion called 911, reporting her missing. Detective Sue Peters was alerted and began investigating. Elena had left no trace of travel. The airlines confirmed she never boarded a flight. Police launched an extensive search throughout Seattle and Woodinville. Sion himself joined in the effort, coordinating friends and passing out flyers. But 7 days passed with no sign of Elena. A horrifying discovery. Then, late one night, prosecutor Kristen Richardson received the call she feared. Elena's car had been recovered at a local athletic club, parked 1.5 miles from her home. But when investigators opened the trunk, horror struck. Inside lay Elena's lifeless body, partially curled, appearing almost asleep, preserved by the cold Seattle air. Yet the marks on her neck told a different story. She had been strangled. The investigation begins. Investigators perfectly examined the crime scene. Items in Elena's car suggested she was headed to the airport, a suitcase, neatly packed. But the clothing she wore told another story. Casual sweatpants and tennis shoes, not the attire of a woman preparing for a trip. Her diamond engagement ring was missing, and her purse was gone. Could robbery have been the motive? Possibly, but the absence of any stolen money or credit card use suggested otherwise. Detectives immediately turned their attention to Sion Louie, Elena's fiancé. Though outwardly grieving, inconsistencies began to emerge. Friends revealed Elena had planned to end the relationship. She had discovered Sion was still legally married when they met, and he had been involved with other women during their relationship. Elena had finally confronted him about his double life, one of the last acts of a woman trying to protect her heart. Meanwhile, medical examiners documented the brutality of her murder. Bruises on her face, neck, and abdomen indicated a violent struggle. Forensic evidence, including swabs from under her fingernails and DNA samples from her clothing, was collected. Some items hinted at sexual contact before death, but a full DNA profile was not yet established. Investigators were convinced. Elena's killer knew her personally. The investigation also revealed strange details about Elena's belongings. Items were misplaced or oddly packed. a tall bottle of hand lotion not intended for travel, hair gel without a lid, and multiple pairs of shoes, including running tennis shoes that did not appear to have been worn. Someone had tampered with her luggage, indicating the killer had access to her home and personal effects. Sion Louie emerged as the only person capable of committing this crime. He was obsessed, controlling, and violent, a former rugby player with a history of aggression. He monitored Elena obsessively, calling dozens of times a day. And yet, the DNA evidence at that time was inconclusive. Without irrefutable proof, prosecutors could not file charges. Sion walked free, leaving the case dormant for years. In 2006, 5 years after Elena's murder, Detective Sue Peters and her new partner, Detective Christina Bartlett, revisited the cold case. They scrutinized old photographs, focusing on details previously overlooked. Elena's tennis shoe laces caught Peters' attention. They were tied in an unusual manner, indicative of someone tying them while the wearer was lying down, perhaps post-mortem. DNA tests on the shoelaces revealed a male component, but the technology at the time wasn't sensitive enough to fully identify the contributor. Meanwhile, detectives investigated a late-night phone call Sion had made to his sister in Hawaii on the night of Elena's disappearance. Questions about his whereabouts, his intent, and his state of mind remained unanswered. In a decisive move, detectives used a bloodhound to track Elena's scent from the parking lot, where her body was discovered, to the home she shared with Sion. Over 2 hours, the dog followed the trail with unwavering focus. The scent led directly to Sion's front door, cementing suspicion that he had moved her body after her death. Circumstantial evidence was mounting, but the case still needed that final, irrefutable link. Investigators then discovered a chilling clue. The missing engagement ring had surfaced. Sion had pawned Elena's ring and given it to his new wife. This discovery, combined with DNA evidence from the shoelaces and the bloodhound trail, sealed the circumstantial case. Arrest and trial. Finally, in April 2007, Sion Louie was arrested outside his home. Years of meticulous investigation, painstakingly collected evidence, and unwavering determination had brought the suspect into custody. Despite the overwhelming evidence, the prosecution knew a conviction would require careful presentation. Circumstantial evidence can be persuasive, but also vulnerable to defense arguments. At trial, prosecutors presented the mountain of evidence: the bloodhound's tracking, the DNA on the shoelaces, Sion's history of deceit, Elena's stolen ring, and the odd packing of her luggage. They painted a picture of a man who could not bear to lose the woman he claimed to love and acted with lethal intent. After days of testimony, the jury deliberated for less than 3 hours. In a rare moment for a circumstantial case, Sion Louie was found guilty. The relief in the courtroom was palpable. Justice had finally been served. On April 24, 2008, Sion Louie was sentenced to 16 years in prison, the law recognizing the devastation his actions had wrought. Elena's son, Anthony, her family, and her friends finally had some closure. Detective Sue Peters reflects, "We become the voice for the victims. All the small pieces of evidence, every lie uncovered, every trail followed. It builds a story and it finally speaks the truth." Elena Busousakos' life was tragically cut short. A victim of love turned into a lethal obsession. But the persistence of law enforcement and the careful unraveling of circumstantial evidence proved that even cold cases, left dormant for years, can be solved. Her story reminds us that the pursuit of justice requires patience, courage, and unwavering dedication. Thank you for watching this episode and remembering Elena Busousakos' story. If you found this video creepy, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon so you never miss our latest true crime videos. Share your thoughts in the comments below. We love hearing from you. Stay safe, stay aware, and we'll see you in the next video.